Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. I've been sitting here for a little while because I literally, everything that I was receiving, and then I got the one sentence. The Power of Turbulence. This is heavy because a lot of people don't really seem to understand how am I supposed to say this, Spirit? How the effects of turbulence can affect everything else. Because turbulence isn't just what's happening right now. What turbulence is it's a way of testing where you are along the journey that you're supposed to be on, set for you by something greater than you. Everything that comes against you, every situation or everything that you feel like is like, ooh, this isn't right. The choices that you're making in that moment of turbulence is how the Spirit knows where you are along your journey, so it lets you know what lessons you need to learn. So, and it's because I feel this so heavy on me, and I'm trying to make sure that I get this right, the way that Spirit wants me to get it right, because Spirit was giving me so much in fragments, and I was like, do I just say it like that in fragments? What am Sometimes you will experience the same turbulence because you're not learning the lesson that you're supposed to learn. You're not doing the work inside of yourself in order for you to get past this certain point. You know what I'm saying? Like if every time you get a job, within a year you're not at that job, and it's been like that every time you get a job. I mean, you're not even there a year and then you're already at another job. You should probably think about what it is with you that you're not able to keep a job for a year. You know, it could be something like, you just don't like what you're doing and you're trying to find something that you like doing. Well, sit down and think about, what do you like? Maintain some sort of consistency so you can grow. If you haven't, with that job, if you haven't kept it a year because they keep telling you about your attitude and you keep saying you don't have an attitude, but through all these jobs, that's a factor that they all have in common. Maybe you should think about your attitude. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. Turbulence is always going to happen. It is always going to come in some way, shape, form, or fashion at whatever level that you're at. And you have to understand, at whatever level that you're at, when you meet other people, they may not be at the same level you are at. They may be above you in levels. They may be below you in levels. You don't have to have the same understanding as the people you are talking to, but you have to understand that the people you are talking to don't have to be at the same level as you for you to understand what they're talking about. I hope that makes sense. Because everybody goes through different things in life. Some people want to be understood. Some people don't care if they're understood. And that's not if you want to be understood and someone else doesn't want to be understood, you can't make them want to be understood. Like, I hope that's making sense. I hope I'm saying it the right way, because that's how I'm getting it. It's not your place to move someone to the level that you are, because you don't know if you're pulling someone down or if you're pulling someone up in certain areas and aspects. And just because you're up in certain levels in your journey, someone else may be above you in certain levels, but in other areas below you. You have to understand and respect that, because that's how everybody grows. Everybody grows from something that they're learning from someone else along the way. Everyone's dropping jewels or nuggets. It's all up to you how big it is if you pick it up. The power of the turbulence. Turbulence is never made. It's never given to you to set you back. Ever. It's given to you to see how well you are willing to persevere. And the choices that you make, determine where you are in this turbulence. If you're just sitting, in a bad patch, and then when you come out of it, how you choose to move after that situation, it indicates what you've learned from that situation. Like, if it was a bad thing that happened to you, a piece of turbulence, when that turbulence is ended, at least a little bit, when it's not as rocky or as turbulent, did you learn anything while you were in that turbulence? Did you think for a minute? What choices are you making now that you're out of that turbulence? With what happened in there, because it's not only, what is it? How is the choices that you make in the turbulence are like ripples. And I know I've mentioned this before. When you make choices in the turbulence, you're throwing rocks in the pond. It is eventually going to affect someone else, something else. Anything from the gnat to the log to the alligator, all depending on what kind of pond you got, or the shore. It's going to affect something. Some rocks, a wave from something underneath the water, creating its own ripple coming up. That's something totally different. Everything you do, every choice that you make, creates something. It sets forth a frequency in the universe. Now, the frequencies that you receive back are a result of what you gave out. It's literally that principle of in a sense of what you give is what you get. In a sense. Like, that's how spirit just gave it to me. It's a frequency that's that's put out there. Now, you can always change this frequency by changing your words, changing your thoughts, changing your actions. Especially once you've recognized, you know, in the turbulence, why the turbulence was there. Okay, you couldn't keep the job for a year because you honestly, truly were just finding a job that could pay you the most money at the time because that's what you needed. Maybe you should find a job that you actually like doing and then stay with that job. And then you could get raises at that job and you could at least be happy with what you're doing. You don't have to be content, but you won't be job hopping either, and you won't be frustrating yourself and giving yourself that anxiety to the point where you're not even keeping a job a year because you hate it. You understand? You're doing the work within yourself, so now you're going to find a job because you found that in yourself, that you want to find something that you're at least somewhat happy doing. You know, you're not going to be dreadful going every single day. You know, it may not pay exactly what you want. It's $1 less, but at least you won't be unhappy. At least you won't feel a sense of anxiety that you felt with all those rest of those jobs on day 1 or 2. You know? And then you'll be a better performer at that job. You'll be a little bit more free in your mind, so that way there's that sense of peace. So you can start to have that sense of peace of work that'll get you more money, which as you've grown in this, you'll have more peace outside of work. So that way you're growing as well. As you grow in your personal life, that's how it grows outside of you. The choices that you make in turbulence. You ultimately have the choice on how turbulence can affect you. The choice is ultimately yours. You can feel however you want to feel. It's your feelings. But like I said, in the midst of this turbulence, in that turbulence, did you do something where you had an opportunity to grow? Was this a learning experience for you? What did you do? Did you do something in that turbulence that you can't take back? Like in the midst of turbulence on one of those jobs that you were at for a year, did you get angry because of something small at work that just blew you over the top and said that you quit and walk out? In the midst of anger, in that turbulence, you said something that you didn't mean to say, because now you can't go back to work because you quit. You walked out. You said something that caused an action. You don't have a job now. Now you got to find another job. And I'm using the job thing as different examples because there's different reasons why people don't stay at jobs for however length of time. But at the end of the day, if you're job hopping, you have to ask yourself why that is. Everything that you're doing, like even in the moments where Because every single day you should find peace. You should be able to smile at some point in your day because you're giving thanks. You're giving thanks. You're growing. You're growing within yourself, because when you grow within yourself, everything else around you grows. And if it's not growing around you and it's dying, it falls off by itself. Sometimes you might need to shake a little bit to get them leaves off, but it'll fall off by itself. But you got to you don't have to be aware that you're in turbulence. But when you have done the shadow work within yourself and you have recognized your faults and where you are, you will recognize the turbulence, because the turbulence comes to test the areas where you have grown in your shadow work. That's what the turbulence is for. Everything that you have worked on with yourself, the turbulence comes to test to see if you are really chosen to grow above that. If you have really ascended, past this and you have learned from the lessons before, that's when the turbulence comes. It comes to test you. It comes to test you. And if you've grown in it, you'll recognize that. You'll start to see it. And how you've grown in it is, you may not have seen it the first time, but when you do recognize it in the midst of all the turbulence, that's when you're learning, you're growing. Because sometimes we don't understand turbulence has happened till the turbulence has happened, because we see the consequences of the choices that were made in the turbulence. The key is how are you growing for that? For how you're growing from that. So the next time that turbulence comes along, or you can start to see it on the horizon. You know how to avert. You know how to navigate or move through that turbulence. It all starts with you and how you are growing within yourself. Whether you are choosing to recognize the false within yourself, whether you are choosing to believe in yourself or not, what you tell yourself every day. Because whether you tell yourself, whether someone else tells you, it's all about, at the end of the day, what you tell yourself. Words mean something. Words mean something. They are a frequency. That's why in turbulence, you have to use your words wisely. Because that turbulence is a frequency, so are your words. If turbulence is up and down spikes in your words or wave frequencies, you better start changing them up and down spikes to wave frequencies. Spikes hurt. It shows how much work you've done in yourself, or the areas you need to do work in. There's nothing wrong with learning from the turbulence on where you need to grow for yourself, so you can grow what's around you. There's nothing wrong with recognizing faults within yourself. That's the only way you can truly grow. And these are faults that you have to recognize within yourself. The choices that you make in turbulence, ripples in the pool, they cause a reaction somewhere down the line, doing something. It's the choices that you make. It's the choices that you don't make. It's whether you've recognized the turbulence or not. And again, it's okay if you haven't. But the thing is, with your growth, it causes you, your inner growth, what you do in your meditation time, your focus time, that is the growth. That is the time to do your shadow work. Don't ask for the universe to do things through it for everybody else if you're not willing to do anything for yourself. Don't ask the universe, well, make this person do that, make this person do this. Ask the universe how they can make you grow. Ask the universe for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in a situation so you can understand on what you need to do. Don't ask the universe to change somebody else's mind. That's not your place, to ask the universe to change somebody else's mind. The energy that you put out there is what does that. What you do in moments of turbulence is the energy that is put out there that changes that. Everything is an energy. Everything is a frequency. These turbulence or spikes, what are you doing to combat these spikes? You can use turbulence to pull you down, to keep you at the level that you're at, or you can use turbulence to be the fuel to propel you up. It's totally up to you. You can use that turbulence so you can grow in better understanding, better awareness of yourself, so you can move better in your purpose of the universe, so you can be more in who you are. Or you don't have to and literally keep going through the same thing in different forms. It's like, ladies, if you're dating it's the same guy but he's in different forms. Underlying same personality but different forms. Same thing, men, if you keep meeting the same kind of women but she comes in different forms, but her underlying personality is the same, that means there's something about you that you need to change, to stop bringing that to see that personality, to stop changing that, to start changing yourself on what you don't want that personality to be, that therefore you can attract the one that you want. You attract what you want when you are doing the work within yourself to grow. Because it's an energy. It's an energy. Energy can go up. Energy can go down. Energy can stay the same. But energy is always moving. It's always moving. That's why you always have to make a choice. It's every single thing is a choice. You chose to get out of bed. You chose to brush your teeth. You chose to take a shower. You didn't have to do either one of those. You could have stayed in the bed. You could have not brushed your teeth. You could have not taken a shower. It's all a choice. Now, whether it's a choice that you choose to make is situational. Okay, you got up, you choose to eat, but you can't eat because you don't have anything to eat. That's situational. You don't have anything in your house. You don't have any food. That's a different situation. You're making a choice to eat, but right now you can't eat because there isn't anything there for you to eat. Therefore, now you have to make a choice. What are you going to do? Are you going to go out and see if you can get a gig for the day? Because there are apps where it's like gigs where you can get paid after the gig. There's apps for that. You know, are you going to go out there and see what you can do to get some bread, get some money? Or what are you going to do? Or are you just going to sit around and mope and complain about how you don't have anything to eat, and you're not, and literally not do anything about it? You're not seeing what resources are available to you, nothing. You're just literally complaining about not having. It's a choice. It's a choice that you're making in a moment of turbulence. So when a solution comes from the turbulence, and it's not turbulence anymore, what did you learn? Your decision on how you deal with turbulence is how your growth is affected. It's a test. It's a test. And it's not one of those things where you can pass or fail the one time. You're going to keep getting the test to see if you get it. Because the universe has something for you bigger than what you think, bigger than who you are. You just can't get what you want without thinking there's not going to be obstacles along the way. Yeah, that's it. Spirit says I'm done. I appreciate you following. I appreciate you listening. It means a lot to me. Be easy. Peace.